Hey there, friend, and welcome back to Simply Bentley. I am so excited to have you here today as I want to talk to you about the ways that your lack of capacity is really what is causing you to fail with your routines and ultimately with your self-care. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kelsey Bentley. I am a self-care and mindset coach that teaches you how to create sustainable routines so that you can practice better self-care. And today I want to talk about capacity. So the definition of capacity is the maximum amount that something can hold. And to make this whole talk a little bit easier, this whole time I am going to use the example of cooking a recipe and filling your refrigerator, okay? So stick with me here because I've got a few little examples that's gonna help really spell this out and really help you to understand why it is that you haven't been able to stick with routines, that you haven't been able to stick with your healthy eating plan and that sort of thing. So I want to go over the three types of self-care coaches, teachers, and mentors that sometimes you find, and we're going to compare them to chefs trying to help you cook a recipe, okay? So the first type of chef is the one who's like, all right, grab your ingredients, grab your truffle oil, grab your fancy artichokes and the olive oil, or I don't know, whatever. I don't cook that fancy, but grab all your cool ingredients. Let's go cook this awesome recipe, okay? And that's great. That's a nice idea. But this chef is assuming that number one, you have all the ingredients to cook the fancy recipe. And number two, that the fancy recipe is something you even like, something you even want to cook. So we can see a few challenges with this type of chef already. And where that kind of comes into play with self-care coaches, with mentors, people like that, is that a lot of times I think we run across these beautiful aesthetic videos, and I know I love watching these. They can be great motivation, but everything is beautiful. Everything, their journal matches their pen, which matches the meditation pillow they sit on, which matches all the other awesome things. But also it's very high level, and it can also be a little bit high level, but surface level in a sense, because you already assume that all that stuff is in place and that that's even the kind of lifestyle that you want to build. So you can see why this type of teacher, coach, mentor, even just instructional content on YouTube or really more entertainment content on YouTube may not be the best option for when you're just getting started with self-care and having a hard time sticking to routines and creating new habits. The second type of self-care content that can really be a little bit better, but still kind of runs up on some challenges. Let's say your chef is like, okay, here's the recipe we're making today. Here's your grocery list. Go ahead, go to the store, get the ingredients. And then when you come back, we're going to make this recipe. We're going to do it together. It's going to be great. Again, there are some assumptions with this type of educational content. And this is a lot of the technique content. So getting started videos, things like that. And those are great. I love those kind of videos, but they're still for a certain person. So when I was getting started out on my journey, I had a really hard time because, first of all, I really liked watching the first type of content that was aesthetic and beautiful and that sort of thing. And trying to make my lifestyle fit into that and make it work for me just was not successful. Then you get into more of these informational type of videos, these how-to videos, and they're excellent. They're great videos, but they also assume that you already have some things in place to help you succeed with them, number one. And number two, again, it assumes that that's the type of lifestyle that you want to have. And while I do think it's great that they teach specific techniques and things, our techniques or the processes, the things that we do, those are your ingredients. So what happens when you come back from the store, you've got all these ingredients for this recipe, remember the recipe that you didn't even pick out, and you open up your fridge and your fridge is full of expired condiments and crusty leftovers. So you have no capacity in your fridge. Your fridge is full of these things. So even though you're learning the new things, you're bringing in the new ingredients, you don't have any place to put them because you have all of this baggage, all of this other stuff that is preventing you from even making good use of these things. And I know, but I thought we are going to make the recipe when we get home. We might, but maybe some things need to stay cold. That's not the point of this. The point right now is just the fact that you only have a certain capacity. You only have a maximum amount that you can hold. And until you get rid of the things in your fridge, which I'm getting ahead of myself now, but until you get rid of the things in your fridge, you have no capacity to bring in those new ingredients or those new self-care techniques, new routines, etc. And now we're moving on to content type number 3, creator, teacher, coach, educator, mentor type number 3. And I'm the type, I kind of come in almost more like, I don't want to say like a professional organizer or cleaning lady. I don't really know, because you're the one going to be doing the cleaning, really. But I come in and I assume I already know your fridge is full of crusty leftovers and expired condiments, and they have to go. I'm going to come in and I'm going to help you. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? You have a lot of obligations on your plate. And until you have obligations off of your plate, ones that you probably don't even care about, ones that have been tucked back in the back corner of the fridge for a long time, but it's still there. It's taking up space. It's taking up time on your schedule and mental clutter. Until you get rid of these things, we can't put anything else in the fridge. So what I like to do is I like to help people clear out their fridge. We want to get rid of obligations. We want to get rid of physical clutter. We want to get rid of old negative mindsets, limiting beliefs, things like that. These are things that I want to help you get rid of. And then once you have this beautiful, clear fridge, then we say, okay, what are we cooking? What is that ultimate goal for you? What looks like success for you? Because I think there are a lot of things about this that don't get addressed in a lot of popular content. I think that it's very unsexy to spend time cleaning crusty leftovers out of your fridge and instead keep trying to add and add and add. But what happens is that even when you're learning new techniques and new tools that can help you, if your fridge is full of all this other stuff, you are still, those new things might get pushed behind something else. You might forget about them. You might never implement them, which I know was a big problem for me for a long time. I learned and learned and learned all these techniques, but I had no time to implement them. I had no energy. I had no mental space to actually follow through with them. So I want to ask you today, what are those things that need to be cleaned out of the fridge? What are those things that are taking up space in your home, in your mind, in your schedule? And how are you going to get rid of them today? And if this is something that you need a little bit of help with, I would love to help you. I have a free workshop called Not Today, Satan, and it's 3 steps to saying no to stuff that doesn't matter. And so I'm going to leave that link down below for you. You can check out the description, the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening to this, and find that workshop and sign up for it. And it's going to help you really evaluate what are those things that are important to you, that deserve your yes, that deserve a full yes? And then also, what are those things that you can get rid of, as well as 3 steps to help you say no a little bit easier. So thank you so much for joining me today. Definitely come hang out with me on Instagram. I'm providing all kinds of content there on a daily basis. And I just want to help you. I want to support you and help you figure out how to make things easier, how to clean out that fridge, get rid of the things you don't want, and then take the time to actually ask yourself, what are the things that I do want? So I will see you soon, my friend. Take care and take care of yourself.